U.S. Bank, Target, Wells Fargo. Those are just some of the big names that have downsized or removed offices from downtown Minneapolis and St. Paul. And they are not alone. According to one industry estimate, almost 30% of offices in downtown Minneapolis sit empty. Almost 20% are vacant in downtown St. Paul. But as Kent Erdahl reports, some are seeing opportunity amid the abandoned.
If you're looking for a sign of hope amid all the empty offices in the Twin Cities,
we are coming into our main lobby entry point for our residents.
Chris Sherman has a brighter outlook than most.
This was a full gut rehab, start to finish.
He believes the old North Star Center office building in Minneapolis is part blueprint, part building block for future recovery.
If you're coming in off the street, this is going to be our grand lobby. 18-foot high ceilings. We'll have offices over here for our team members, fitness center back here.
The renderings of that lobby and the rest of this ambitious office to apartment conversion reveal the ideal answer to what threatens downtown cores everywhere, but they don't reveal the reality.
Projects like this take years, if not longer, to bring together. Our project was about $92 million of development costs, but the overall block, $250 million.
That's a big bet on dormant, dusty old offices. And for Sherman Associates, it's not the only one.
Nobody's coming back to this office.
Correct. Just like innovation in any other industry, as certain spaces become less in demand or obsolete, the market should change with it.
Senior developer Trevor Martinez says it will take another $100 million to convert these cubicles into 187 apartments inside St. Paul's landmark towers.
This is going to be a lounge that's for resident use up on the 18th floor that has views of both the Science Museum as well as the Mississippi River Valley.
But these million-dollar views are rare and offer a window into another big obstacle: windows.
This project actually has a uniquely good footprint for office conversions.
Because the landmark isn't a giant square, most apartments here will be no further than 30 feet from an exterior window.
You can fit more units in the project without having to have long corridors or dark hallways or buried bedrooms.
Some floor plans at North Star in Minneapolis, on the other hand, are closer to 60 or 70 feet deep.
On these longer, deeper units, because of the depth of the building, we will bring in natural light by carving out above the kitchen.
But Chris says this is about as far as they can go before the math and the money just don't add up.
How much potential is there realistically for these kinds of projects?
Probably about 10% of office space in Minneapolis and St. Paul, maybe 15%, if you start to think outside the box, are good candidates for conversions.
That may not sound like much, but in Minneapolis alone, he said that would translate to up to 2.5 million square feet of new housing in old offices. And unlike new construction, where 75% of total costs go to materials, office flips flip the ratio in favor of labor.
This is sustainability. We are coming in, reusing material, and having a bulk of our costs go to labor. That is a great outcome.
It's also sorely needed. Prior to the pandemic, this map shows how much property value per acre was concentrated in downtown Minneapolis office towers. But since then, the highest point here, representing the Wells Fargo Tower, sold for less than half of its previous value. And with other peaks plummeting, the mayor admitted today there will be ripple effects.
The money's got to come from somewhere. So that burden of a regressive tax, it shifts to our residents, both homeowners and, by the way, renters.
Over in St. Paul, the largest downtown property owner just listed their entire portfolio, and the sale price of the First National Bank building, U.S. Bank Center, and several others will reset the market and tax base for years to come.
When those values change, that's not only going to affect those cities as a whole, but it also will affect the state as a whole.
But John Commerce also sees signs of hope. The founder of Visible City mapped cell phone activity in Minneapolis before the pandemic and tracked where it shifted last year, and says the bright spots were thanks to a big rebound in event and entertainment traffic.
How do we use that to create kind of inroads into the central business district?
Sherman says transforming more of it into a central living district is one place to start.
You look at a lot of the corners immediately around us, and they are getting renewals, getting new leases coming in. And for retail in particular, what we're going to see the next 6 to 9 months here in this location is retail gain more traction.
It's a time of opportunity,
Absolutely. It's very similar to a one door closes, another one opens.
except you got to make the door.
It's very true, and tear out a lot of old ones along the way.
As Ken Erdahl reporting, the 2 projects that he toured are basically the only ones currently underway. Developers blame large cost gaps compared to new construction. A proposed expansion of the state's historic tax credit could change that, but it's unclear if it has a chance of passing this session.
Well, it seems counterintuitive that it'd be cheaper to just demolish the whole building and start over than to try to retrofit those
It's a
things.
very
but-
big task, but we all
Big
have
deal.
to root for it to work because, as he mentioned, it really matters for the entire state's economy. So.